The vast darkness of space crackled with an unexpected signal. Kim Jae-wook's fingers flew across the holographic display, his eyes widening as the alien transmission became clearer. The lunar research base hummed with quiet tension, its white walls reflecting the soft blue glow of advanced monitoring systems. Outside the reinforced windows, Earth hung like a blue-green marble, completely unaware of the incoming threat. Jae-wook's breath caught in his throat as the translation algorithms began decoding the message. Strange symbols transformed into words that sent a chill down his spine. Attention, Earth civilization. The transmission read, "Your existence is an anomaly. Surrender is your only option." The Kralthari transmission carried a coldness that seemed to penetrate the lunar station's climate-controlled environment. Jae-wook's hands trembled slightly as he realized the magnitude of what he was discovering. These weren't diplomatic envoys or curious explorers. They were conquerors. Within moments, he activated the Global Emergency Communication Protocol. Red warning lights began spinning across the lunar base, casting everything in an ominous crimson glow. Satellite networks across Earth began receiving the same chilling message, translated into every known human language. The alien fleet wasn't just approaching. They were already within striking distance of the solar system. Massive ships that looked like obsidian daggers against the starry backdrop began positioning themselves strategically. Each vessel was easily 10 times the size of humanity's largest space stations, their weapon signatures generating readings that made military analysts gasp. Jae-wook's team worked frantically, analyzing every fragment of data. They discovered something peculiar. The Kralthari communication pattern suggested a hierarchical military structure that valued absolute obedience. Their technology was advanced, but their strategic thinking followed rigid, predictable patterns. "They expect us to panic," Jae-wook muttered to himself, his mind already calculating potential defensive strategies. "They want submission." Global leadership channels erupted into controlled chaos. Military commanders, scientific experts, and political representatives began emergency meetings. The United Nations Space Council convened within hours, streaming live communications from every continent. Earth's initial response was a mixture of fear and defiance. Social media exploded with speculation, conspiracy theories, and raw human emotion. But beneath the surface panic, something else was brewing. A collective human determination that had survived countless challenges throughout history. Jae-wook's initial analysis revealed critical information. The Kralthari ships, despite their impressive exterior, showed subtle technological vulnerabilities. Their communication networks relied on centralized command structures, a potential weakness that could be exploited. As hours passed, the alien fleet continued its methodical approach. They didn't fire weapons, they didn't launch attacks. Instead, they maintained a threatening presence waiting for humanity's response. It was a psychological warfare technique designed to break spirit and resolve, but they didn't understand humans. In research labs, military installations, and technology centers across the globe, experts began mobilizing. Every computer, every network, every available resource started analyzing the alien technology. Quantum computers worked overtime, breaking down transmission codes, studying energy signatures, and mapping potential defensive strategies. Jae-wook knew this was more than just a technological challenge. This was a test of human adaptability, creativity, and collective willpower. The Kralthari saw humans as a primitive species ripe for conquest. They were about to learn a very different lesson. As the first alien ships entered lunar orbit, casting massive shadows over the research base, Jae-wook allowed himself a slight smile. Humanity had faced impossible odds before. They would do so again. The message was clear. Earth would not go quietly into the night. The first act of humanity's most significant confrontation was about to begin. The world transformed overnight. Research facilities that once competed now worked in perfect synchronization. Park Yoon-seo sat in a secured underground complex, her fingers dancing across quantum computing interfaces that hummed with unprecedented energy. "We need a complete reimagining of defense," she muttered, pulling up holographic projections of potential weapon systems. Traditional military strategies would not work against the Kralthari. Humanity needed something entirely different. Around the globe, scientists who had never spoken to each other before were now sharing real-time data. Universities emptied as professors and researchers were recruited into emergency response teams. Governments dissolved bureaucratic barriers, understanding that survival trumped political boundaries. Lee Sung-min, a quiet weapons designer from Seoul, developed a breakthrough. His team discovered how to weaponize quantum entanglement, a technology that could potentially disrupt alien communication networks. What seemed like theoretical physics just weeks ago was now a potential salvation strategy. Military installations worldwide began rapid modifications. Satellites were reprogrammed. Communication networks were fortified. Every computer, every system became part of a global defense grid. The Internet, once a platform for entertainment and communication, was now humanity's most powerful weapon. In the United States, massive data centers were converted into strategic command hubs. In China, quantum research facilities worked around the clock. Russia redirected its space technology resources. European scientific communities merged their most advanced research. The Kralthari had expected a fragmented, fearful response. Instead, they encountered a species capable of unprecedented collaboration. Yoon Seo's quantum network started mapping alien communication frequencies. Each decoded signal revealed more about the enemy's technological infrastructure. Their centralized command structure, once considered a strength, was now becoming their most significant vulnerability. "We're not just preparing to defend," Sung-min explained during a global briefing. "We're preparing to demonstrate that humanity is not a species to be conquered." Artificial intelligence systems were rapidly evolved. Traditional machine learning was replaced by adaptive, self-modifying algorithms designed to understand and predict alien tactical movements. Universities that once competed for research grants now shared every line of code, every computational breakthrough. Military strategists realized that traditional warfare concepts were obsolete. This was a conflict that would be won through intelligence, adaptability, and collective human creativity. Space agencies from multiple countries began emergency satellite deployments. Each satellite was now a potential weapon, a sensor, a communication node in humanity's growing defensive network. The orbital sphere around Earth transformed from a communications infrastructure to a living, breathing, defensive organism. Genetic researchers started investigating potential biological defense mechanisms. If the Kralthari believed humans were weak, they would soon learn about human genetic adaptability. Rapid vaccine and defense protocols were developed, ready to be deployed at a moment's notice. Economic systems were restructured. Manufacturing lines that once produced consumer goods now created advanced defense technologies. Every industrial capacity was redirected towards a single goal: planetary survival. Yoon Seo's team discovered something remarkable. The Kralthari's communication systems, while advanced, followed strict logical patterns. Human unpredictability could be their greatest advantage. Where alien tactics were rigid, human responses could be fluid, creative, unexpected. They expect linear responses, Sung-min explained during a strategy meeting. "We'll give them chaos." Training programs were established globally, not just military training but comprehensive preparedness protocols. Every citizen became a potential defender, every skill potentially crucial for survival. As days passed, the initial fear transformed into a global sense of determined resistance. The Kralthari had made a critical mistake. They saw humans as a single homogeneous species. They didn't understand that human diversity was its greatest strength. Yoon Seo looked at her final computational model and smiled. The aliens were approaching with confidence, believing in their technological superiority. They didn't realize that humans were about to redefine the meaning of technological warfare. The preparation was complete. Humanity was ready. The real battle was just beginning. The silence of space erupted with unexpected violence. Captain Kang Hye-jin watched through her ship's quantum-reinforced view screen as the first wave of Kralthari vessels approached. Her fingers gripped the command interface, muscles tense with anticipation. "Activation sequence initiated," she commanded, her voice steady despite the enormous stakes. The human defense fleet looked nothing like traditional military formations. Each ship was a living network of adaptive technologies, connected through quantum communication channels that the aliens couldn't comprehend. They weren't just machines, they were extensions of human intelligence. Quantum entanglement weapons powered up. These weren't ordinary missiles or energy weapons. They were computational nightmares designed to unravel alien technological infrastructure from within. Where traditional weapons would cause physical damage, these would destroy the very logic of alien systems. The Kralthari fleet moved with mechanical precision. Massive obsidian-like ships spread across the solar system's edge, expecting total submission. They had conquered hundreds of civilizations before. Humanity would be just another statistic in their galactic record. They were wrong. The first strike came not from weapons but from information. Massive data streams infected alien communication networks. Each transmission carried computational viruses that began dismantling their centralized command structures. It was like watching a complex machine slowly come apart, one logic circuit at a time. Hyjin watched as alien ships began experiencing systematic failures. Navigation systems collapsed. Weapon protocols became confused. Communication channels dissolved into meaningless static. "Target their central command ship," she instructed her tactical team. Quantum encrypted attacks moved faster than light. They didn't just damage, they completely rewrote alien technological understanding. Where the Kralthari expected linear conflict, humans introduced absolute chaos. Biological warfare teams had prepared specialized genetic disruption signals. These weren't traditional weapons, but sophisticated computational frequencies that could potentially interfere with alien biological systems. Each transmission was a carefully crafted mathematical sequence designed to create maximum confusion. The battle wasn't happening in physical space alone. It was a conflict of computational intelligence, of adaptive strategies that humans had perfected through centuries of technological evolution. Alien ships began experiencing impossible scenarios. Navigation systems showed contradictory information. Weapon protocols triggered random, nonsensical responses. Some ships started firing at their own formations, confused by the computational assault. Commander Daniel Rodriguez coordinated global response from an underground facility. "We're not just defending," he told his international team. "We're demonstrating that technological superiority isn't about hardware, it's about adaptability." Human satellites transformed into a living, breathing defensive network. Each satellite was now a potential weapon, a computational node that could analyze, predict, and counter alien technological movements. The orbital sphere around Earth became a complex, intelligent organism. The Kralthari had expected a straightforward conquest. Instead, they encountered a species that could turn their own technological superiority against them. Every alien computational attempt was met with increasingly complex human responses. Psychological warfare played a crucial role. Human transmissions carried calculated messages designed to create maximum confusion. The aliens weren't just facing a military resistance, they were confronting a fundamentally different form of intelligence. As hours passed, the alien fleet began to disintegrate, not through physical destruction, but through complete technological collapse. Their rigid hierarchical systems couldn't adapt to the fluid, unpredictable human computational assault. Hyjin watched the final stages of the engagement with a sense of calculated calm. This wasn't just a victory, it was a statement about human potential. Computational disruption at 97%, her tactical officer reported. The Kralthari fleet, once considered invincible, was now nothing more than floating debris. Their technological arrogance had been their ultimate weakness. Humanity had not just defended itself, it had redefined the very concept of technological warfare. The first engagement was complete. The message was clear. Earth would not be conquered. Doctor. Kim Min-ki stood in a sterile laboratory, surrounded by holographic displays showing alien genetic structures. The remnants of captured Kralthari technology lay dissected across multiple research platforms. What had begun as a desperate defense was now transforming into a calculated counteroffensive. "We've found their weakness," he whispered to himself, tracing complex genetic sequences that flickered like living code. The alien biological systems were remarkably advanced, but fundamentally rigid. Where human genetics represented adaptability, the Kralthari genetic structure was a precise, inflexible machine. Each discovery revealed another potential vulnerability. Global research teams worked simultaneously across different continents. What once would have been competing scientific groups now functioned like a single massive intelligence network. Every breakthrough was instantly shared, every discovery immediately analyzed. Biological warfare took on an entirely new meaning. Instead of traditional weapons, scientists were developing computational frequencies that could potentially disrupt alien genetic communication. It wasn't about destruction. It was about systematic neutralization. Admiral Sarah Chen coordinated the global response from an international command center. Her team had transformed military strategy from physical confrontation to intelligent disruption. The Kralthari weren't just facing human military might. They were confronting human innovation. Captured alien technology revealed complex but predictable communication networks. Each alien ship, each technological system, carried genetic markers that could be systematically targeted. Human researchers discovered they could potentially send frequencies that would cause massive systemic failures in alien biological infrastructure. "We're not destroying them," Min-Ki explained during a global briefing. "We're rendering their entire biological system non-functional." The research moved beyond traditional understanding of warfare. Teams were developing methods to introduce computational disruptions that could potentially cause entire alien genetic systems to malfunction. It was warfare conducted at the molecular level. Satellite networks began broadcasting specialized frequency bands. These weren't just communication signals. They were carefully designed genetic disruption protocols. Each transmission carried mathematical sequences that could potentially interfere with alien biological communication. The Kralthari had believed they were technologically superior. They didn't understand that human scientific creativity could transform any challenge into an opportunity for innovation. Quantum computing systems analyzed alien genetic structures with unprecedented speed. What would have taken decades of research was now being processed in hours. Each captured alien technological fragment became a window into their entire biological infrastructure. Min-Ki's team discovered something extraordinary. The Kralthari's centralized genetic communication system was both their greatest strength and their most significant vulnerability. A single disruption could potentially cause massive systemic failures across their entire species. "They function like a single organism," he told his research team. "But that means a single point of failure can collapse their entire system." Military strategists realized this was more than a conventional conflict. This was a battle of adaptive intelligence against rigid technological systems. Humans weren't just defending, they were fundamentally challenging the Kralthari's understanding of technological warfare. Global manufacturing lines were rapidly converted. Facilities that once produced consumer electronics now created specialized genetic disruption technologies. Every industrial capacity was directed towards a single goal: developing methods to neutralize the alien threat. The turning point wasn't about physical destruction. It was about demonstrating that human scientific creativity could transform any technological challenge into an opportunity for innovation. Captured alien ships were systematically dismantled. Each technological fragment revealed more about their complex but ultimately predictable systems. Human researchers were literally rewriting the understanding of interstellar conflict. "We're not just defending," Admiral Chen told her international team. "We're establishing humanity's position in the galactic community." As research progressed, it became clear that the Kralthari had made a critical mistake. They had underestimated human adaptability, human scientific creativity, and human determination. The turning point had arrived. Humanity was no longer just surviving, They were preparing to demonstrate their true potential. The universe was about to witness something extraordinary. The communication chamber buzzed with anticipation. Park Ji-eun stood perfectly still, her posture calm but her eyes burning with determination. Surrounding her were representatives from every major human organization, scientific, military, diplomatic, and technological. The surviving Kralthari, diplomatic envoy, looked broken. Their once proud technological superiority had been completely dismantled. Humanity had not just defended itself, it had fundamentally transformed the understanding of interstellar conflict. "We are not seeking destruction," Ji-eun began, her voice clear and precise. "We are establishing understanding." Global communication networks prepared to broadcast the message across multiple frequency bands. This wasn't just a diplomatic communication, it was a galactic warning. Every known alien civilization would receive this transmission. The message was simple and direct. Humanity would defend itself with unprecedented creativity. Any civilization considering invasion would face total technological neutralization, quantum. Communication channels began transmitting complex mathematical sequences that demonstrated human technological capabilities. Each transmission carried layers of information, scientific achievements, technological innovations, and a clear warning about human defensive potential. The Kralthari envoy understood the message perfectly. They had entered this conflict believing humans were a primitive species ripe for conquest. Instead, they had encountered a civilization capable of transforming any technological challenge into an opportunity for innovation. Genetic research teams had developed methods to completely disrupt alien biological communication systems. Military strategists had created computational warfare techniques that could neutralize entire technological infrastructures. Scientific researchers had transformed defensive technologies into adaptive, living networks. "We are not seeking conflict," Ji-eun continued, "but we will absolutely defend ourselves." Global satellite networks prepared to broadcast the message. Each transmission carried multiple layers of information, scientific achievements, technological capabilities, and a clear demonstration of human adaptive potential. The message wasn't just about current capabilities. It was a statement about human potential. Every alien civilization watching would understand that humanity represented something fundamentally different, a species capable of transforming challenges into opportunities. Technological displays showed humanity's rapid advancement. From captured alien technology, humans had not just learned, they had completely reimagined technological possibilities. What the Kralthari considered advanced, humans saw as a starting point for innovation. Military strategies had evolved beyond physical confrontation. Humanity had demonstrated the ability to neutralize technological threats through computational creativity, genetic understanding, and adaptive intelligence. The diplomatic communication was both a warning and an invitation. Any civilization approaching Earth would face not just resistance, but a fundamentally different form of technological engagement. Research facilities around the world prepared additional transmissions. Each message carried complex mathematical sequences, genetic research achievements, and clear demonstrations of human scientific potential. The Kralthari envoy understood the message perfectly. This was more than a diplomatic communication. This was a fundamental redefinition of humanity's position in the galactic community. Ji-eun's final words resonated across communication channels. Approach with respect. Approach with understanding. We are not looking for conflict, but we are absolutely prepared to defend ourselves. Global representatives watched with collective determination. This wasn't just a diplomatic moment. This was humanity establishing its position in the universe. Quantum communication channels began transmitting. Mathematical sequences danced across frequency bands. Complex genetic research displays flickered. Technological achievements transformed into living messages of human potential. The message was clear. Humanity was here. Humanity was prepared, and humanity would not be conquered. As the transmission completed, a new era of galactic understanding began. The warning had been sent, the universe was listening.